This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Live Bet Sunday, I'm Scott Seidenberg here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. A lot of ball left to be played, a lot of puck left to be played as we track all the action going on in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Game 7 between the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. The second period will get underway shortly. The Blues leading the Jets 2-0, so we did not cash our best bet on the under 1.5 goals in the first period. And it was a bummer because the second goal that the Blues scored was a very, very soft goal let in by Connor Hellebuck. We should have gone to the intermission at 1-0 at the worst. But, 2-0, and now we see how the Jets can respond here in the second period. Your live total is at 5.5, juiced at -115 to the over. And your live line, if you think the Jets come back to win, you can get plus 270 to plus 280 on the Jets on the money line. NBA action, the Pacers were leading the Cavaliers the entire first half and halfway through the third quarter. But then a surging Cavaliers run at the end of the third quarter has spilled into the fourth quarter now, and the Cavs lead the Pacers 99-98 with 7:44 remaining in the fourth quarter. Your live line, Cavaliers closed as 8.5-point favorites. Live line, it is Cavs minus 3.5 right now with a live total of 233.5. Speaking of totals, we are a half an hour away from the start of Game 7 between the Warriors and the Rockets. And this game, it had a total of 201 to open. Yesterday, we were on VSiN, hosting Live Bet Saturday, watching the Game 7 play out between the Nuggets and the Clippers. A game in which everyone was betting the under. I personally had it at 208.5. It got bet down to 206.5. I was celebrating my 2 points of CLV, and the game flies over the total. And at that point, looking at the market, I saw the Warriors and the Rockets at 203. And I bet the over last night. And I said on the air, here on Live Bet Saturday, I said, I wonder if people are going to look at what happened here in the Nuggets game against the Clippers and think, yes, Game 7s are historically low scoring. We understand that. But that total flied over the total. And even though it was an under series, even though all signs pointed towards the under, I even bet the first half under and I lost that. But I wondered if the market would adjust and push the total up because people would be betting the overs. And that's exactly what we saw happen, because right now the market is at 205.5, 206, and 206.5 is actually out there in some books. The Rockets at home here in Game 7 opened up as a 2-point favorite. They are now minus 2.5. Taking a look at the betting splits, here at Circa, you got 55% of the bets are on the Golden State Warriors, but 72% of the money is on the Warriors. And on the total, 82% of the bets are on the total to go over, 61% of the money on the total to go over. You can get access to those exclusive betting splits by becoming a VSiN Pro subscriber. That's right. Unlike other sources, our betting splits here at VSiN come straight from Circa and DraftKings Sportsbooks, and that gives you insight into where the sharp action is landing. Now, Circa, we know, known for taking big bets from pro bettors, while DraftKings providing a more broader market perspective. So that means you're getting the real action, not just the public money, but the kind of wagers that move lines. You can see the percentage of bets versus percentage of handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's exclusive betting splits for as little as $9.99 for your first month at vsin.com/subscribe. We have about, still 7:44 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Cavs with a 99-98 lead over the Pacers. Your live line, Cavs minus 3.5, live total of 235.5. And Rockets, a 2.5-point favorite right now over the Warriors. Your total at 205.5. That's the best number you're going to find out there if you're looking to bet an over, is the 205.5 here at Circa and at DraftKings. Anybody interested in the under, there is a 206.5 out there in the market that you could look to grab up here. That game about a half an hour away from starting, so we're going to get into that once this game comes to a close between the Cavaliers and the Pacers. And who knows, will the Cavs cover the original line? We certainly see them go on runs here. As I mentioned earlier, something that I was doing during the season was betting on the Cavs in those games where they were double-digit favorites and they were trailing early on. They always had this second-half run in them and just would dominate these games. In fact, just taking a look at the Cavs games this year. So I mentioned they were 31-1 straight up this year when they were a double-digit favorite. I'm going to say, just take a look at games where they were an 8-point favorite or higher, which is what they were tonight. So that's more applicable to tonight's game. 41-6 straight up. Now, the ATS numbers aren't that great, 25-22 ATS, but 41-6 straight up, the Cleveland Cavs this year as an 8-point favorite or greater. And something that I found to be, pretty interesting when you dive a little further into these games is, the amount of scoring in the second half, not just for the Cavs, but for their opponents, as they are outscoring their opponents in the fourth quarter especially by almost 5 points per game. So that's kind of goes into what I said about their ability to come from behind in those games where they were double-digit favorites but trailing early, and a lot of it has to do with, the fourth quarter outscoring their opponents by almost 5 points per fourth quarter. And right now, fourth quarter action, they are outscoring the Pacers 12-9 as they lead 102-101. 6:51 left in the game. Live total right now 236.5. When this game closed, your total was at 229. So it did get bet up from 227.5 all the way to 229.5, back down to 229 here at Circa. Closing line was the 229, and the Cavs minus the 8.5. Cavs minus 3.5 right now on the live line, total 236.5 with 6:36 to go in the fourth quarter. All right, let's check in on what's going on in Major League Baseball as we are going to the top of the sixth inning in St. Louis. This is game 2 of a doubleheader between the Mets and the Cardinals, and they are tied at 4. Starting this game for the Mets was Tyler McGill, who has gone through 5 innings, allowing all 4 of those runs, 6 strikeouts, 1 home run allowed. Adrian Palante started the game for the Cardinals. He's allowed 4 runs on 9 hits. So the Mets, leaving a ton of runners on base here. 9 hits for the Mets, but only 4 runs. 1 strikeout for Palante and no home runs. Should have been 1 home run, but a great play by Victor Scott to rob Juan Soto of a 3-run home run earlier in this game. Meanwhile, the Braves, with a 4-0 lead over the Dodgers, Atlanta was an underdog in this game. The Braves looking to avoid a 3-game sweep at home. It's kind of been a trend that we've been following all season long here in Major League Baseball. If you look at the home teams to avoid a 3-game sweep, we'll give you the updated data here on the season, but you had a couple of teams in play here looking to avoid 3-game sweeps at home. This year, they are 15-9 straight up. Those teams looking to avoid a 3-game sweep at home. You are profitable betting on those teams. Today, the Texas Rangers avoided a 3-game sweep at home. The Milwaukee Brewers avoided a 3-game sweep at home. The Pirates were unable to avoid the sweep at home as they lost to the Padres 4-0. But the Braves, as as an underdog here at home. Opportunity to cash in a little plus money price as that home dog looking to avoid a 3-game sweep. Again, 4-0 Braves, top of the 4th inning there in Atlanta. Starting this game for the Braves, Bryce Elder, 3 1/3 innings, 1 run allowed on 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, and Dustin May on the mound for the Dodgers has allowed all 4 runs on 5 hits, 2 home runs allowed by May, both of them by Austin Riley. Yep, Riley responsible for all 4 runs for the Atlanta Braves. 2 2-run home runs and almost identical in the first inning and the third inning, scoring Alex Verdugo on both of those 2-run shots by Riley. So that is the difference in that game, with the Braves having a 4-1 lead over the Dodgers, as the Dodgers just scored. Yeah, 4-1, because it was 4-0. So Dodgers are on the board here. 4-1 now. The Braves lead the Dodgers in the top of the 4th inning. No score in the second period right now between the Jets and the Blues. So St. Louis still holding on to that 2-0 lead. About, a little over half the period left. So we'll update you on what's going on here. Meanwhile, the Pacers surging right now as they have gone up 110-104 on the Cavaliers with 4 minutes to go. A little bit of a run here for the Pacers. Hey, smarter bets start here and last all year long with VSiN Pro. For a limited time, we are slashing the price of our annual subscription. Normally $240, now just $199. And when you sign up today, we're going to throw in an extra 2 months for free. That's 14 months of VSiN Pro access for less than 50 cents a day when you use promo code PRO. Get 14 months of access to our daily best bets from VSiN hosts and guests, exclusive splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 live video and full show replays on the VSiN Watch app, plus all of our special edition betting guides. Head to vsin.com/subscribe now. Use promo code PRO and lock in 14 months of VSiN Pro for just $199. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. More Live Bet Sunday continues next with me, Scott Seidenberg, here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Scott Seidenberg back here on Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, as the Pacers are in the midst of an 11-4 run here late in the 4th quarter. They lead the Cavs 112-106. There's still plenty of time left. 3 minutes and 16 seconds left to go here in regulation, but your live line right now is the Pacers -3.5, and that is even juiced at -125 as they lead by 6 now. 112-106. The last possession that I watched, it was, good defense by the Cavs leading to a miss, but no one underneath to stop a rebound, and an easy putback, bunny little layup there for the, I believe that was that Pascal Siakam? No, Miles Turner. Pascal Siakam just made a shot now, so it is 114-106 as the Pacers lead the Cavaliers, and as Yogi said, it is getting late early for the Cleveland Cavaliers in this game. At one point, this is what happens when you go down early and you put yourself in a hole. You have no margin for error. So it was a tremendous third quarter by the by the Cavs to actually give themselves a lead in this game, and a good start to the 4th quarter, but just, you allow another run to your opponent, and all of a sudden, you're trailing again, and it comes back to how you started the game. And I have looked at this. So the Pacers won the first quarter, 36-25. And this postseason, we are at a higher rate of teams that win the first quarter going on to win that game than we have seen in quite some time here in the NBA playoffs. So normally, on average, it's about 66 to 67%. And when I say on average, I'm looking at since 2002. So the last 23 years of data in the NBA playoffs. It's about 66 to 67% Teams that lead after the first quarter go on to win the game. This playoffs, we were at 75% at one point. It's ticked down a little bit, but we're still well over 73% of teams that are winning at the end of the first quarter go on to win these games, and we're seeing it right. Oh, the Pacers are looking to close this one out as they had the first quarter lead. Last night in game number 7 between it didn't work out because the Clippers had the first quarter lead against the Nuggets, and then the Nuggets went on to win that game. But Rockets on Friday had the first quarter lead. They went on to win the game. The Knicks with the first quarter lead, they went on to win the game. So it's happening more so than it isn't in these NBA playoffs. And in fact, it's happening more so in these playoffs than it has happened traditionally in the last 23 NBA playoffs. What else is happening this year in the NBA playoffs is the teams that have these double-digit leads are actually extending those leads, where instead of the opposing team coming back, which you would expect, so like you see a team that's down double digits, you might want to bet the other team live, we're actually seeing those leads get extended. And it's funny because there have been a lot of blowouts here in the NBA playoffs, but the NBA playoffs have also been very entertaining. But last night was a blowout, as there was a lead that just got extended into a bigger lead. And we've seen those in these games, that there has been more of these leads that get extended rather than the leads getting blown. Nuggets blew out the Clippers last night. The Rockets took care of the Warriors. And even the Rockets game against the Warriors before that. The one time that it didn't really happen was the Knicks-Pistons game, because the Knicks allowed the Pistons to come all the way back in that game after absolutely dominating the first quarter, up 37-23 at the end of the first quarter, and then they absolutely allow the Pistons to come all the way back in that game. But right now, let's see where we are. 2 minutes and 21 seconds left to go in regulation. Pacers with a 114-106 lead over the Cavs. The Cavs have called a timeout. You can get Cleveland right now plus 5.5. That's right, Pacers are laying 5.5 here with 2 minutes and 21 seconds as Cleveland's going to inbound the ball here. And they need to get points on the board here. It's not panic time just yet. This is something that has bothered me sometimes in these playoffs. And thankfully, for my Knicks bet, it came through the other day. But the Knicks were trailing by like 6 or so. And there was, still like 3 minutes left in the game. And they were treating the possessions like it was 90 seconds left in the game. And that's the one thing you don't want to see happen. You don't want to see these teams panic and just start chucking up threes and getting bad looks when it's not that big. It's only, right now you're down 8. I get it. You need points. Obviously, a three-pointer would be the most beneficial, but you need to get good looks. You can't just chuck up a bad shot, and then all of a sudden your 8-point deficit becomes a 10-point deficit, becomes a 12-point deficit, and the game is over. We got a delayed penalty right now. Winnipeg skating with the puck, and they will try, and if they don't score here on the delayed penalty, obviously they will have a 2-minute power play as we have under 10 minutes to go in the second period. And boy, this couldn't have come at a better time. Well, I guess it could have came earlier in the period. That would have been a better time for the Jets. But there's about 8 minutes left, and the Jets will head to the power play. And I believe this is the first power play of the night for either team. So right now, with 8:26 left to go in the second period, we have the Blues with a 2-0 lead over the Jets. Both of those goals coming in the first period, unfortunately, for our best bet, first period under. And it was an early goal, a minute into the game, by Jordan Kyrou off a great, 2-on-1 kind of play. And then it was the softest of goals that you'll see in a Game 7 that it was a turnover at center ice. Matthew Joseph, a wrist shot. Yeah, kind of deflected off the defender's stick a little bit, but that's one that Connor Hellebuck absolutely should have saved, and he'll be the first one to admit that. So 2-0 still is the score. Both teams are at 11 shots on goal with 8:26 to go here in the second period. Your live total right now is let's see, because it's off the board, which means It's either off the board because of the power play or it's off the board because there's a goal that is about to be scored. So as we look here, the faceoff here in the offensive zone, the Jets on the power play, they get it back to the point, and we'll watch to see this power play get set up, and it is a goal. So the Winnipeg Jets are on the board. So, yeah, our juicy bet was minus 222, but cash it as the Jets score a goal here in the second period. Much needed on the power play. Cole Perfetti scoring the goal. 8:19 to go in the second period, and Cole Perfetti gets the first goal for the Winnipeg Jets past Jordan Binnington on the power play. The assist to Kyle Connor and Neil Pionk. I did sprinkle on the Kyle Connor 2 goals in this game, so I would have liked that to be a Kyle Connor goal, but great pass by Kyle Connor and Cole Perfetti. Oh my goodness, you want to talk about fluke goals here. Connor makes a pass to Perfetti, and actually it's a really cool deflection. It was a good deflection. It was a purposeful deflection. It just goes over the shoulder of Binnington. I don't think Binnington thought that was going to deflect that way. I think Binnington was more worried about the one-touch pass to a wide-open defender that was on the opposite side of the net. But here we go. We got ourselves a game here, 2-1. The Blues lead the Jets with under 8 minutes to go here in the second period. Your live total is at 5.5, and it is minus 110 to the over. I still like that over. I do. I still like it. I know that we could get a 2-2 overtime, and then we're kind of screwed here on the over. But if it's not a 2-2 overtime, it could be a 2-1 game becomes a 3-1 game, becomes a 4-1 game with the empty netters. You never know. If the Jets score again, 2-2, a team takes a lead in the third period, 3-2, 3-2 becomes 4-2, 4-2 can become 5-2. The game's far from over. Far from over. Your live line right now, Blues are minus 200, the Jets plus 154. Pacers up 116-108. But there's under a minute left, and it looks like the Cavs will fall here to the Pacers in Game 1 of their Eastern Conference first-round series. Cleveland was an 8.5-point favorite in this game, and as I mentioned earlier, you dig yourself too big of a hole early on in the game. Even though you had a strong second quarter, you had a strong third quarter, unable to get it done here in the fourth quarter as the Pacers have outscored the Cavs 26-18 here in this fourth quarter. And it was the 11-point lead after the first quarter that was the difference in this game for the Pacers as they lead 118-111, but there's 30 seconds left. I want to tell you guys about what's going on here at Circa. You can go all in this summer with the Ultimate Getaway Package, just $400 all in, and that'll get you a 2-night stay here at Circa, a $100 dining credit, a $100 beverage credit, plus your very own daybed at Stadium Swim. All for just $400, resort fees and taxes included. This limited time offer valid for stays between May 26th and September 4th. Don't miss out. Lock in your all-in summer package now at circalasvegas.com. I'm Scott Seidenberg. This is Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Scott Seidenberg back here on Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN, the sports betting network, as the Indiana Pacers have defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 121-112 as they take a 1-game-to-none series lead. The Pacers closed as 8.5-point dogs, and the total closed at 229 here at Circa. And that does cash in with the over as it goes 233 on that total. And the Pacers winning outright as the 8.5-point dogs. We are moments away, about 10 minutes or so away, I believe, is what the expected start time is going to be for the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. Game 7 from Houston with the Rockets are now a 2.5. Let's see. Rockets are a 2.5-point favorite here at Circa. Looking across the board, it's 2.5 everywhere. And your total is at 205.5 here at Circa, 206 elsewhere. Let me refresh the page, see if there's been any late movement here as we're about, it says it's going to start now, but I believe, they're calling it about 10 minutes from start time here. All right, here at Circa, -2.5 in favor of the Rockets. 205.5 is your total. 206 elsewhere. There is a 206.5 out there in the world. So if you're curious about that, you could take that. I'm on the over. I'm already in on the over at the 203 price that it was yesterday. I would still buy in on the over here at the 205.5 here at Circa. I know Game 7s are unders. I know. And I'm bucking history, okay? I'm bucking the trends of the Game 7s in the NBA playoffs going under. But what I've seen so far in these NBA playoffs and what I saw last night, this total's just too low. I mean, let's be honest. It's too low. And this has been a series in which these totals have been low. But with the exception of Game 1, where it was 95-85, we've had more points being scored here. What was it 109-94 was the Game 2 win for the Rockets? Yeah, they lose 104-93, so that was a lower scoring game. 109-106. The loss, that one goes over. 131-116 shoots over the total. 115-107, another over. And I get it. Game 7, you want to push the totals down. Cool, I know. But we've already seen money coming in, betting the over here, and I think that that's the right move. I think the move here is to go over. I do believe that it's just too low. If it was 210, 211.5, yeah, I'm betting the under. At 203, which it was yesterday, no. At 201, which is what it opened at, I mean, the only way to go was up. And that's what we've seen as money came in and pushed this over. I'm curious now. We're a little less than 10 minutes away from the start of this game, and I'm curious to see if we do get some more money coming in on the over or the under. However the money's coming in, I want to see what the movement's going to be like for this line. Again, we are at 205.5. I'm on the over, and I do lean the Warriors. I would like a better price than the 2.5. I don't think I'm going to get it. Maybe in-game, if we can watch to see how the first part of the game plays out, and maybe we do get a better in-game line here on the Golden State Warriors. I lean Golden State, and what the reason being is, if you recall back to their last playoff series win, which was not last year because they weren't in it, but the year before that when they beat Sacramento on the road in a Game 7. And yeah, not that big of a travel. Obviously, Sacramento and San Francisco or Oakland, it's not that big of a travel. But they lost that Game 6 at home, a chance to close out that series at home 2 years ago. And they responded after losing the opportunity to close it out at home. They responded by winning that Game 7 on the road. And I could see a similar situation happen here. I also look at what happened last night. The Denver Nuggets dominated that Game 7. And the reason that I think they were so successful in that Game 7 is because as you play longer together, chemistry matters, cohesion matters, trust in your teammates matter. Having been there before matters. That's a Denver Nuggets roster that has been there before. And yeah, okay, you fire Michael Malone. The team has to kind of gather themselves at the end of the season after the head coach is dismissed and figure themselves out. But it's still a team with playoff pedigree. It's still a bunch of players that have played together for quite some time now that have a trust in each other. And yes, this is a newer version of the Golden State Warriors with Jimmy Butler involved, but it's still Steph. It's still Draymond. It's still a team that has players that they trust, that trust each other, I should say. So I do lean, Looney as well, even though he barely plays, but he was there with the playoff experience. I do lean towards the Warriors getting this done here in Game 7 on the road in Houston. And the total, as we keep monitoring it, 205.5 here at Circa. 206 pretty much everywhere across the board. But Circa obviously taking a stance, being the sharpest book here in town. So that's strong on the under. But this was bet up from yesterday at 203. Bet up now, and it is here at 205. Looks like that's where it will settle in, as this game is minutes away from getting started. We do have another goal in Winnipeg as the Blues score again and have taken a 3-1 lead on the Jets, and your live total is now up to 6.5, and you would get even money on that over 6.5. We do have a penalty being called, and it looks like it's going to be on Winnipeg. So the Blues will head to the power play already with a 3-1 lead on the Winnipeg Jets as they look to win this Game 7 on the road. That goal scored by Radek Faksa, the assist to Nathan Walker at 19:25 of the second period. So the Blues scoring a goal a minute into the game, and then scoring a goal here with 35 seconds left in the second period to take a 3-1 lead. And the Jets will look to kill off this penalty. About 20 seconds left right now in the second period as they're looking at a Winnipeg player. I don't know if this is a potential high stick on a St. Louis player. That would certainly nullify this power play, and the teams would skate 4-on-4. Let's see what the call is. If it is, in fact, a high stick on the Blues, or if they're just going to say that was a follow-through and no penalty. So waiting to see what that ruling is. But your live total right now is at 6.5, and it is even money. Nope, no penalty there. So St. Louis still on the power play. Over 6.5 is at even money, and I mentioned it earlier. It was a play that I gave out earlier, the live total to go over. I still think we're live here on this live total. 3-1 going into the third period could easily wind up being a 5-1 finish. 5-1 finish would go under the 6.5, but it would go over the live number of 5.5, and it would go over the pregame number of 5 or 5.5. You have multiple opportunities for empty nets here at the end of the game, and then yes, there's an opportunity for Winnipeg should they come back and tie the game, and maybe there's an overtime at 3-3, and then, as we say in hockey, 3 + 3 = 7. So you can hit your over 6.5 if, in fact, Winnipeg does come back to tie the game. But if they are going to do that, they're going to have to kill off a penalty for the first minute or so of the third period, as we are into the second intermission with the St. Louis Blues having a 3-1 lead over the Winnipeg Jets. And your shot totals now for both teams, the Blues are at 16 shots on goal, 14 for Winnipeg. Taking a look inside the box score for your shot props, Pavel Buchnevich has gone over his shot prop. He has 3 shots on goal. Jordan Kyrou has gone over as well, as he has 3 shots on goal for St. Louis. For Winnipeg, Nikolaj Ehlers has 2 shots on goal, so one away from going over his 2.5, or if you juiced it at 1.5, you could have cashed that one already. Kyle Connor, though, who was over 2.5, he is at 1 shot on goal, but I would expect that to increase in the third period with them trailing. And Cole Perfetti does have 1 shot on goal. He has the only goal for the Winnipeg Jets, that being scored on their power play. Want to remind you guys, ProfitX offering the best odds on baseball all season long. ProfitX, a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states, the first of its kind in the U.S. You're going to be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans, and rather than sports books and exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. That's pretty cool. Download ProfitX today with code VSIN and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. I'm Scott Seidenberg. We will get into the Warriors-Rockets Game 7 next here on Live Bet Sunday.
This is your before and after story. Instead of imagining a rewarding career in medical imaging, Southeastern College can actually take you there. Prepare for a career in ultrasound, radiology, and X-ray technology. With hands-on specialized training, simulations, and real-life experience with the latest imaging technology, you'll be ready to play a vital role on any healthcare team. Transform your life by helping others. Southeastern College. Your future is bright. Visit scc.edu to get started.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Scott Seidenberg back here with you, Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, as we are underway in Houston. The Warriors and the Rockets, Game 7 of their Western Conference first-round series. And the Warriors off to a good start with a 10-4 lead over Houston. Now 10-6 as your live total is at 209.5. We did play the over at 203.5 yesterday. We recommended the 205.5 for the game as it stood here at close, here at Circa. 205.5 and minus 2.5 was your closing line here at Circa, and we did recommend playing the over to 205.5. So we're going to monitor this to see how it progresses, but a good start so far for the Golden State Warriors. Draymond Green has made a three-pointer. That's becoming like a common theme here, as I've noticed in these playoff games. Draymond gets underway with like one three-pointer, and then he doesn't make another one for the rest of the game. But Draymond's got the three-pointer. He's got 5 points early on here, and Brandon Podziemski back into the starting lineup. He does have a three. If you recall, in the game number 6 loss, the Rockets did tweak their starting lineup. The Warriors tweaked their starting lineup, and they put in Gary Payton instead of Podziemski. And according to reports, at least that I was reading on Twitter, from Anthony Slater of The Athletic, who covers the Golden State Warriors, he was saying that this was going to be, it was going to probably put Şengün in some pick-and-roll type situations, and that's what the hope was by putting a screener in the game like Gary Payton. But obviously it didn't work out because the Rockets handled them in that game. For the Rockets, as it is now 13-10 Warriors over the Rockets, they are led 4 points by Alperen Şengün. Dylan Brooks has 2. Fred VanVleet with 2 points already. And Draymond Green, 2 3-pointers made. Whoa! If you had the over 1.5, you cashed it. First 2 shots of the game for Draymond Green. First 2 threes go in. He's got 8 points to lead the Golden State Warriors. It's still very early in this game, but 13-10 Warriors lead the Rockets. Live line is Warriors minus 1.5. Live total 208.5. We are into the second intermission in Winnipeg with the Blues holding on to a 3-1 lead over the Jets, and they will start the third period on an abbreviated power play. The live total is at 6.5, and it is plus 114 to the over. And if you are intrigued by a puck line, the Blues at minus 2.5 is plus 110. The Jets plus 2.5 is minus 140. Jets to come back and win the game, if you think that's going to happen, is plus 575. Now, I say that with a little bit of a smugness to there, but it happened yesterday, right? The Dallas Stars down 1-0 going into the third period, down 2-0 30 seconds into the third period, come back and not just win the game, but win the game by 4-2. It can happen. I will say, though, and I believe I tweeted this out yesterday. I'm going to see if I did, because I know I read the stat online. But last night, yep, I did retweet it. The Dallas Stars last night became the first team in Stanley Cup playoffs history to be trailing by multiple goals in the third period of a Game 7 and go on to win that game in regulation. So, if we just take a look at that history, well, you certainly wouldn't want to bet the Jets to come back and win in regulation. You would think that, hey, if we look at some third period plays, if we look at some third period puck line. The Blues are actually favored in the third period because they do start on the power play. They are minus a half a goal is at plus 105. The plus a half a goal in the third period for the Jets is minus 145. Your third period total of 1.5 is at minus 190 to the over, and I would lean towards the over because, well, the Jets, the Blues could score right on this power play to start the third period, and you can get one goal right there. But even at 3-1, if this stays 3-1 for the remainder of the game, we're going to get to a position here at the end of the third period where you can have multiple empty net goals. And so, yep, you're at 4 goals right now. It could end with it being just 6 goals if, in fact, a 3-1 game becomes a 5-1 finish. But I do think that, obviously, you have the Jets could certainly come back here to tie the game or, just score a couple of goals or score 1 goal. 1 goal from either team, you're still going to have a possibility here for another goal. 1 goal by the Blues at 4-1. It's a game 7. The net's going to be empty. No matter what, the net's going to be empty tonight. Unless it's 6-1 at the end of the game. And then even still, you might get an empty netter. But at 6-1, you've already cashed it. But you're going to get empty net opportunities, and you're going to get multiple empty net opportunities here. But the Jets still holding out hope, trying to come back here and force an overtime, but just get themselves in a position to get back in this game. Starts with 1 goal. If the Jets score 1 goal, they'll be right back in it. Chance to maybe do some damage here. All right, checking back in on what's going on in Houston as the Warriors have a 16-13 lead over the Rockets. Minus 1.5 is the line here for the Warriors, and your live total way down now to 199.5 as the scoring has really, really slowed down here after a quick start, but a much, much slower pace. And this is what you expected, right? This is the Game 7 trends here. Game 7s go under. This is why the total opened up so low. Last night was on an under and got burned because the game flew over the total. But historically, I would be all over Game 7s to go under. And that was my initial lean prior to watching last night's game. And then watching last night's game and then seeing the total get bet up, I do think that it's just too low. It's just too low. It's the NBA. I get it. Okay, these teams play defense. I get it. But this is a Game 7. You might get some fouls at the end. I don't think so. But and it's a coin flip game, so overtime's always the possibility. We'll see. We'll see how the officiating goes for the remainder of this game, if there's going to be a ton of free throws or not. Right now, I can tell you, looking at the box score, with 3:42 left to go in the first quarter, no free throws for the Golden State Warriors just yet. 1 free throw for the Houston Rockets. There has been just total fouls called. Only 2 fouls called on the Warriors here in the first quarter. 1 foul called on the Houston Rockets. So letting them play early on here in Game 7, which leads you towards an under. So under looking strong right now. Your live total is at 200.5, but still plenty of game left to be played. Let's take a look at what's going on in your Major League Baseball scoreboard. The 2 games in progress there in the bottom of the 8th inning in St. Louis as the Cardinals are looking to finish a double-header sweep of the New York Mets. They won Game 1 earlier today, and that was a 6-5 win for the Cardinals over the Mets earlier today, as they had 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. That really was the difference in that game. They took a 6-2 lead. The Mets did come back, scoring runs in the 6th and the 8th to make it 6-5, but unable to get the tying run here. And right now, in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 outs, the Cardinals have a 5-4 lead over the Mets. Mets who have Edwin Diaz in the game right now, looking to keep it at a 1-run deficit, as they will try and tie the game or take the lead in the top of the 9th inning. And leading off for the Mets, Juan Soto did make the last out in the top of the 8th inning. So it'll be Pete Alonso leading off for the Mets, Mark Vientos, and Brandon Nimmo. Want to remind you guys, you can take VSiN with you anywhere, anytime. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today and stay connected to the action wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, available on your phone, tablet, and smart TV. And with the VSiN Watch app, you get 24/7 live access to our audio and video streams, replays of your favorite shows so you never miss a moment, big screen streaming straight to your smart TV, plus quick access to clips by sport tailored to your interest. Watch VSiN anywhere, anytime. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Now second and third with 2 outs for the Cardinals as Edwin Diaz gives up a hit, and he is going to look to close this, not close it out, but keep the Mets within 1, as again they would head to the 9th inning down 5-4, best case scenario for the Mets, with the heart of their lineup coming up. Pete Alonso, Mark Vientos, and Brandon Nimmo leading off in the top of the 9th inning. And your Sunday night baseball game right now, the Braves looking to avoid the 3-game sweep at home against the Dodgers. Atlanta leading 4-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. More Major League Baseball coming up next with our very own Greg Peterson, who will join me, Scott Seidenberg, right here on Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.